Hey guys, how's it going? Ghosty Rich here today, and today we're going to be working on this 03 S10. It's a two-wheel drive, but this should work for a lot of them. This one's got rear drums. We're going to be doing the rear drum brakes today. So first thing you want to do is, if you do not have an impact, before you even lift your vehicle off the ground, just take these caps out. You can even do them by hand half the time, but either way, just pull them out if yours still has the factory caps. From there, after you get those caps off, if yours is still on the ground, you would have to just crack these loose. For me, since I've already got this jacked up, if you're wondering about a good jacking point, again, just right there would be fine. Just lift it, leave the jack under it, and then put a jack stand just in case it fails. I'll probably reposition that one because it's on a bit of an angle, but we'll move that one over. Anyways, under the frame is best. Once you have a jack stand under the frame, go ahead, like I said. Oh, another handy tip. See, I have the wood there. Shove a couple wood blocks under the tire, just like so. So that way, if the vehicle tries to roll back, you don't have to worry. Especially if it's a manual, it will try to roll. So make sure you chuck those front wheels. So since I'm using an impact, I was able to pound them off right like this. If not, like I said, crack them loose when the tire's on the ground. Jack it up, go ahead, pull the lugs out. And then, just like that, she's free. And as you can see, we have a very rusted old brake drum. Let's go ahead and pull this off, so that way we can show you what's going on under the drum.
Important, take this, pull this back. Again, I'm gonna show you on the passenger side because I showed on the driver's side, and you're going to see this at the beginning, but I wasn't too happy with it. So we're going to take all the tension off of this. We're going to clean up this part with brake clean afterwards. But let's take all the tension off, because if we do that, and then we pull this back, you can take this out of the way right away. Let's see if we can get this spring out of the way next. If we can, it's going to make everything easier. Again, we got this new in our spring hardware package. So there we go. Now that we've got that, keep this, because for some reason our e-brake didn't, well, we'll take this. You got to remember that spring when we finish up. Now, to make this easier, what we do is we take these out first. Just take them, push them back, turn them sideways. Almost there. There we go. Watch this. Take that out, put it off to the side. Do the same with this side. There you go. Oh look, another spring. Ooh, candy. All right, so go over here, and now we can take this, probably, or why don't we do this side first? Just like that. Again, new spring inbound. Take this. Oh, I'll grab that in a sec. That's the spring we need. Keep that one. And we need this piece. And this piece right here. So what we do now, we will take this off. See if it'll come. There. Nice and easy. Put that off to the side. If you're not going to be replacing your brake cylinder, you can go ahead and spray everything here. If you are going to be doing your brake cylinder, come back here. You're not going to be able to see it, probably. But soak back here. That's your brake line. What we did there is we just soaked it so it's going to penetrate. You could use penetration fluid, but this is brakes cleaner. Make sure you're in a ventilated area. This stuff is going to otherwise make you feel a little bit happy. Other than that, go ahead. All you're doing, try to do that.
We just want to clean it up nicely. See, look at that. There you go. And you just want to soak everything. If you have another bucket, or you can put it in this bucket too, you just put it in here. And I think that's the only hardware really. Oh, and our tensioner here. I'll have to hit this with something to get it off because she's on the pad good. But all you want to do is let her soak and clean it up and see how rusted out she truly is. Whatever you do, gloves and glasses.
Again, this is the driver's side, so you'll see which way I'm unscrewing. This is important because if you don't know what side you're doing and you try to go the same way as me, you don't want to strip it, right? So, and again, you're gonna have to wiggle it a bit if you got a good set of wrenches, because the rust will not allow for it if you try to do a 14 on it, and so on and so forth. So whatever you do, monitor this line. You do not want it twisting when you break the initial pressure. If that line tries to twist, you don't want it to break, right? Because then you have to, well, you'll have to buy this new brake line from right here to right here, which is something you don't want to have to do. But I'm not going to make you watch this. Just keep loosening it after we get this loose. So all we're going to do, take off this old cylinder. I've loosened this enough that we can just take this old one off, and then we can take it out the rest of the way. That way we can actually see when it's out. It's easier to pull it away from the line.
This. Ain't that pretty? Alright, we'll put this off to the side. We can see our brake line right here, which is perfect. If you want to, you can take one of these cloths, kind of cover it for a sec, and we can shoot this in here with brake clean so we know it's going to sit nice and still. I wouldn't want to shoot brake clean down the line. So, like I said, if I were you, just take a handy dandy clean flow rag, or if you buy a new thing of clean flow rags, go ahead and put the bag over the tip like so, just like that, and then take clean flow rag if you want, give her a rub down, give the whole thing a rub down if you want, just like that. Look at all that rust. Good old British Columbia. Here's a part number for you, WC37854. As you can see, brand new cylinder. Look how shiny that looks compared to that. Just shows you what BC weather does to items like so. And don't worry about playing with the bleeder right now. The bleeder is later. We just know that the bleeder on this side is upward. So we'll have this. Make sure your screws still move in nice and smooth. Oh, this hardware looks great. To tell you the truth, out of all things, the hardware on this looks awesome. So now we'll uncover that again and let that drip for a sec, because then any dirt that kind of tried to wander its way in will come out, and we can slip this in here just on an angle, up and around, go to town, and just hand thread the bolts back in. I wouldn't do too much other than that. So first things first, get these started, and I'll show you why in a second. If you suck the cylinder up to where it should be, you can get the right angle for that brake line. Otherwise, you're going to be playing with it, and then it's going to be annoying. So there. We're not going to do any sort of tension. We just want to sync it up. That way, if it does need to move any little bit, it can. And the brake line can do its thing. So now we grab our 14. If you're looking, you can actually see the angle it's on. You want to make sure that angle is the proper angle, and then what you do is you back turn it. I'll tell you why in a sec. If you back turn it, it should help line up the threads. So what you do is you back turn it, and then you turn it in. And we'll see what she does. Whatever you do, the moment you feel any sort of binding, stop, because you just don't want to cross thread. Because if you cross thread, then you need new brake line, and you don't want that. So, like I said, just go for it. Again, yes, it should be. You'll see when you do this, it's the cylinder itself is on a slight angle, so the brake line just comes up on an angle and goes in. You would have seen this also when you popped it out. And like I said, you just might have to reposition the line a little bit a couple times, and you'll get it. Look at the amount of tension I'm putting on. See how I'm doing it with one hand on here? That's it. Don't go He-Man in this thing. If you go ham, you're gonna snap that nipple off and cry. So now that we've got that, and she's right there, again, monitor this. So when you're doing your strokes, don't slip and break this off, because then you've got to borrow the bleeder off the other one if you can even get that out. So just careful when you're putting it in. Again, I found it easier to bolt this in lightly. I think I'm going to go ahead and grab my torque wrench here, and I think these are probably about 13 foot-pounds. They're not much. So you can go whatever you want. I'm going to go to 15. There you go. I think 15 is more than enough, because how easy those came off before. If you want to, you can go up to, I don't know, I'd stick to 15. Some people might say, oh no, it's 16, oh there's 20. So you go off of whatever you can find on Google, but there we go. I'm good, I'm happy with that. No matter what, she's tighter than she was before. Now that we've got this settled up back here, let's leave this alone. We can bleed this at the end. The reason why is if you look at this T here, if there's any air in the line, we want to bleed both sides at the same time, because if we bleed this side now, when we crack that open, there's a chance an air bubble flows up the line here and we're in trouble anyway. We want this fully sealed before we bleed anything. So leave this the way it is. Let's get up here and start doing some work up front. If you got a new hardware kit, which I sure hope you did, do that. Clean up the surface. We've got a new one in here. This is a brake hardware kit. He got that from a brand from which the box is missing. There it is. FVP verified. Again, I didn't get these brake parts, but that's the part number for these particular ones. I can't condone or say they're great. This is one of those things you don't probably have to replace, but she's in the kit, so why the heck not? You take a look right here. There she is. All you do is you grab it. Well, we're gonna open this anyway, and we'll just shove that part in. And I pulled it out from the other side. But yeah, just like this. And of course now she doesn't want to work for me. Let's just grab this and give it a little bit of a working around. The other thing you can do, of course, is soak her a little bit in brake clean, like this. There you go. Now she's lubed up. Good as new. Perfect. You can see which side this goes on. Just goes like that. Again, this is how much smooth it should have been. So that way it goes smooth. The old one was all rusted and locked out, so it wasn't moving very well at all. Put this in just like so. Next thing to do, put this spring in just like that. Now that we've got this, you can kind of hold it however you so wish. I like to sometimes hold it like that. We have to put this piece in here. Once we've done that, and it's kind of like half in, we're all cut and ready, kind of half happy, go ahead, put our pad retention piece right here. Go in right here. While it's in, we know how it goes. This has to go in between the two. Watch. We're gonna make an Oreo cookie out of this retainer. Goes in here. From there. If we can. This is the fun part, by the way. Put that onto there. Perfect. Take a look. Make sure the e-brake is still locked in. This is right here. Your retainer is still right on here. This is here, and the white spring is on top. Trust me, go through all these guides as you go to do this. Then fold it back. As you go, you're gonna notice, there we go. Nope, that slipped out. Oh, that's all right, that's just a pin. That's okay. We need to make sure the e-brake goes around our piston. You might have to push it in with your finger. There, watch. I pushed it in with my finger. Now it's all the way over here.
That way we don't bang up the other side. Anyways, now that that's free like this, e-brake is free like this, we're doing pretty darn good. We can now take this piece right here. If you want to, you can hook it up right away. You don't need to, but just make sure it's on top like that. See how this is now free floating? We can technically hook this up. I don't think it'll probably stay. Usually doesn't, but I just want to show you how it's supposed to hook. All right, now we've made so much progress. Bring the pin around the back. So the pin comes out like so. Now that we've got all that in the pin, if you have a friend, get them to hold the pin with their fingers, and you come in from this side. Put it in like so, compress. What you basically want to do is get that pin to touch your finger, use your other finger to twist it, and then it'll lock in. Just twist it 90. I doubt I'll be getting that. Let's see. No way, I just got it. Just like that. Whew. Take a breather before we do the other side. So the brake booster right here, if you take a look, we have this piece right here. Wide, not so wide, I don't care, shallow. Put this oblong spring just like that, leave it like that. Make it so it bevels like this away from the booster. Slide it around both pads at the back, or the pad and the e-brake. Go ahead, take this. We're gonna get that ready to line up. Let's rest this here for a sec. Stay. And then watch what I do here. Around, bend out, and bring down. Now, we need to sort of see if we can lift at all, as we have to start to line this part up. But we don't want it to just push on the spring. So, might be able to move that back to twist this up. Aha! Yes, you. Come down here. Aha! Just like that. If you take a look in here, the spring is kind of in an open mouthpiece right here. This is right here. We might have to do that, but we're in a good spot. Take a second, take a breath. Take the pin, put it through. Holy smokes. There we go. Now, we can shift these pads around so you have a better angle to get that at. Important note, this spring is different than this one. This one's smaller, it's shorter. This one is longer. It's kind of got this. Make sure you put your piece in the wide end. Go ahead, push this in. Try and keep your pad in as you do it. And then compress and put the tip in again, just like we did the other side. Aha, just like that. All right, look at that. So again, just so you can confirm everything before you officially celebrate completely, you need to have the short pad on this side, big pad on this side, opposite for the other. The long pad still aims the back of the box, so always do the long pad at the back. That's the easiest way to do it, so that way you have the short pad this side, long pad this side. Now that we've got that, if you want to, grab this guy, which is your e-brake spring. Don't ask me why. They don't give you a new one in your package. All right. The e-brake spring is now in. Red spring. take a look at your e-brake here. You'll see this you'll see the tongue that locks it. You need this end to be along there. So take this, lock it in, so that way it gives it the most space. And then we'll be able to bend this down. And maybe use some pliers if we need to. Probably won't need to, but let's see. Come on. I can see you. There you go. Make sure we're both locked in. Yep. There we go. We now move this back down here. I don't know why it keeps doing that. All right. Once we've done that, tensioner, make it its shortest area. There we go. Make sure you got your tip on. See how it lines up like that? That's how you know which side. You can't do it this way because it won't lock the tensioner. You need it to lock the tensioner. Put it this way. Put it like this. Actually, let's just put, you know what? Bend this out. Pull it out. There. Aha. Ta-da. Take a breather, and then we'll reposition the pads. So, again, if you want to do your own research, just make sure this is under this. You want these to line up the way they are right now. Those are as close as they're gonna be. We've got this pretty centralized, and then we're smashing stuff. So let's go ahead, slide that over and spin it. And it's a little tight, but if we want to, again, we can go ahead, pull it off, loosen it off, and again, it's going to, that's what that tensioner does, is it adds the tension. We just want it as close as we can so you don't just lose rear braking. You can see I've put a little bit of brake fluid, .3, inside of here. You take your little self-bleeding brake bottle. This is a very tiny one, but we're not doing a full fluid change. So slide this onto here. Next thing you need to do after doing this, mine used to have a magnet. It no longer has a magnet. Too bad, so sad. What you're gonna wanna do, go and attach this to the bleeder, and then we're gonna crack it open. I'm gonna show you right now how that looks. See where this 8mm is? Go ahead, slide the little black cap off, put it somewhere you're not gonna lose it, and it's not gonna get too dirty. Slide this into the tip of the bleeder. If you give it a good squeeze, it'll open. Perfect. Next thing you want to do, crack open your bleeder. Just like that. When you crack it open, shouldn't have to open it too much. See how we have nothing in there? That's because we just had that off of the master cylinder. So, next, go. If you want, you can put this up here or zap strap it up high. You don't want it to, there, that'll actually be fine there. I'm gonna go press my brakes. Watch what happens. Any fluid? Yeah, there it is. Perfect. So, all we do is we keep pressing until you see no air bubbles there. Are we going into the bottle? See, we have this air bubble traveling up here. We don't want any air bubbles. Let's take a look. How are we doing here? Actually, I don't see very many air bubbles at all, but we'll still pump it until, well, actually, where it is about now. So once you get pretty full, we're gonna press it a couple more times. It's gonna fill up, and then we're gonna close the bleeder, empty the bottle about yay much, and then start pumping again. Watch your brake cylinder reservoir up front. If you run out of brake fluid, you get to pump all that air out of the system. I'm guessing that's pretty full. Yeah, so from here, before we pull that off, we take our 8mm wrench and we close it. Make sure it's sealed. From there, go ahead and empty a bit of your bottle into here. Watch this. If you're doing a full fluid swap, this is where you'd put new fluid in. You go like that. Yeah, a little more, why not?
There we go. Close it up.
Leave it up here. Crack it back open. There we go. Make sure she's open. Leave this up here. Yeah. There you go. And go pump the brakes a couple more times. Let's take a look. That's more than enough for me. See if we have any air bubbles traveling up. Nope, I don't see any air bubbles, so let's lock this. Perfect. Tighten it up. Give it an extra turn. Again, right about there. One-handed. Don't go crazy. Oh, look at that. Perfect timing. Again, we'll put that back on, and if you want to, go do that to all four sides. It's a good way to quickly bleed your brakes and make sure you have no air in any of the lines all the way around. So if you want, and you have a torque wrench afterwards, let's just show you. You just go. One more pass. Now, this I have is a 1-key driver, so I have it set at a certain amount of torque. But what you can do, if you don't have this, but you do have a torque wrench, I'd probably bolt these down to, 80 to 100 foot-pounds. Leave it up to you. And again, if you still have this thing and you want to use it, go ahead and put them on. I don't know. Up to you. And that's it. That's how you do the drums on this vehicle. If you're wondering about doing the fronts are extremely easy. You can watch even my Jeep video on how to do it, because all it is front calipers. You're just going to sink the calipers in and bolt them up. Drums are a little bit more fun, and they're all unique, where calipers, they're all pretty much the same for the fronts. The fronts are just simply removing and then putting it on. Anyways, if we ever need to do the fronts, we'll do the fronts and blah blah blah. Looks like he's missing 2 caps. Anyways, hope this video helped you out. Press help if it did, and subscribe for more.